Howdy YouTube, and welcome to this episode of the Gunman Raw. So let's get into this job straight away. No time to muck around. We've got this Hyundai Tucson. It's Thursday afternoon. I've got probably about an hour until I'm going home, and we're gonna smash this job out here. So brand new front bumper cover, a new fender, and 2 repairs on the 2 doors. We've also got the tiny little spot here. We just put a bit of non-sanding primer or wet on wet on that section there. It's actually what in the States they call sealer. So that's what I've got in the gun here. I'm actually going to put some of that wet on wet over these panels here. I don't usually do that, but there was a few cut throughs if you look here, like to bare metal, and I just wanted to be sure that I didn't miss any of the deeper sanding scratches from the block. Honestly, I think I did get them, but I just decided to do it this time for whatever reason. I just felt like doing it. So we'll go through the procedure on this job here. So yeah, this is just the what do they call it? It's a bumper wipe. Yeah, isopropyl alcohol 70% and 30% water. I guess that's demineralized water. But what these do is get rid of the static in the bumper, and they'll also give it a good clean down. The alcohol will clean it down and also get rid of all the static. So yeah, I find they do a pretty good job. You do have to be careful. Like, I'll go over it after with the high pressure air blower. I did give it a good blow down before I am wiping it down now. So I got the high pressure air hose, gave it a good hose down. I then went over it with this. What I like to do with these when I'm done, just give the arms a bit of a wipe down. Well, that's all good. And then give the air hoses a bit of a wipe down. Sometimes you pick up a couple of little bits of stuff along the way. I actually already wiped these 2 down with the water cleaner, but I actually recommend don't wipe your air lines down with Prepsol or wax and grease remover, because it can actually create static, whereas the water cleaners, they will remove the static and remove the little particles of dust that might have collected there. So yeah, don't use thinners and don't use Prepsol on your air lines, because it will actually create static, and then you'll be doing the opposite of what you were hoping to do. You'll actually be creating more dust than getting rid of any. So as I say, now this is actually one thing I've sort of started doing lately, which I never used to do, is using these cool little blowers. I've actually got 2. I've got one in here. This is the Prevost one, and then I keep another one in the back pocket of my little spray suit here. So this is pretty cool. It came with one of the spray guns that I've got, and I don't know, I just find that they're better for blowing your panels down than the air out of your spray gun. So I'll just do that. Like, with these new bumpers, I'll inspect them. If I see a little spot like that, I'll only tuck rag that spot, because what can happen is once you've already wiped it down with the anti-static cleaner, if you go and rub the whole bumper down, you'll get static back into it. You'll charge it back up with the static, because as you guys probably already know, if you rub stuff, then you'll actually create that static electricity. So I've already wiped this fender here down with Prepsol or wax and grease remover. I did that actually before we started this video. And I also wiped this down, these 2 panels here down with the water cleaner. So the reason I've got the second gun there is that's just got a bit of straight up thinners, or VOC thinners, a good quality thinner. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to use the wet on wet primer sort of where I need it, and then I'll spray a bit of the thinner over the edge to sort of melt the edge in. You'll see what I mean when I get to that. It's something that the regulars, or the regular follows that have followed me for quite some time will be familiar with, but if you're new around here, yeah, watch and learn. It's definitely a method that works, but I've found that if you just go with that wet on wet without putting the thinner over the edge, you can get a little bit of a halo around where you put your wet on wet. Anyway, this is a plastic additive. It's got plastic additive in it. Gotta get that awesome airbed respirator on. So now my eyes are protected and I'm breathing fresh air. So yeah, my whole face is fully protected, which is great. So this is the FLG 5 1.3. Bar, as you may have noticed. What's that? That looks like a little bit of plastic. Yeah, that's a bloody hair. Have a look at that. Did we get it out? Hey, you know what? That's under the number plate. Ha! Couldn't have happened in a better spot. That's a bloody hair though. Well, it's not one of my hairs, mate. I definitely haven't got hair that long. So yeah, this wet on wet, that gives me adhesion straight up to the plastic, and it also gives me a good colour to go over with my silver. So I did choose that colour. I found with the silvers, the mid-grey, which is FC4, is usually the best. I mean, I always use FC4 primer, that mid-grey on my silvers. So you can, like, so remember I said that this has got the plastic additive in that wet on wet. You can go over metal parts with the plastic additive. I couldn't be bothered mixing up two batches, to be honest. That's all that is. So I want to make sure I don't get any overspray from, I see I'm pointing it away from my blend. Protect the blends at all costs. And we just need a really thin coat. We don't need to overdo it with this. Just putting it where I need it. Don't forget about that, Gunny. You need it there. That's bare metal. See, I'm aiming the gun over the other direction. And we should be all good. Yeah, there was a couple of cut throughs, a couple of bare metal spots around here too, which I wanted to cover up with some of this primer, and we're not going to dilly-dally, and we'll get this gun here, and we'll go straight over that. That's just going to melt that edge in. So as I said, that's just straight up thinner, a VOC thinner, the same thinner that goes into the wet on wet. Make sure I'm happy with it. You really don't need to overdo it. I'm just checking, yep, I'm happy that there's no overspray on the place where I don't need it. So that's going to be about 5 minutes until I'm going to clean that gun out. I'm going to head out, clean that gun out, and get the base coat in the gun, and I'll see you back here in 5 minutes, guys. Righto guys, so let's continue on with this job here. So I've got my GTI Pro Light Gunman Edition for base coat with probably what I would say is the best air cap to spray Stando Blue with. So Stando Blue is the paint system I'm using. We'll check that spray tan's working. Yep, that's all good. So yeah, TE10, I've found that's probably the best all-rounder
to spray this base coat with. So we've got here and it's a W400 Woody edition. I've actually got a review on this coming up on the main channel soon, so keep an eye out for that one. I might just give that a quick tack round just in case we got a little bit of misty overspray from when I was spraying that wet on wet, but that feels nice and clean. This is probably unnecessary, and I can feel that edge between the wet on wet primer and the original paint, it's not rough or anything because I put that thinners down before. So yeah, this is going to be all good, man. Yeah, I don't know why, man. I've found that the Bellaria is an absolutely ideal gun to spray this blender with, because you kind of want to get it down wet and quick, and that's what this Bellaria does. It gets a nice amount of material down and it does it really fast. So yeah, I find it ideal. I'll do the blend first. You probably noticed. That's one thing I like to do, is stagger the blend, like have it here below the mold but then here above the mold, so it sort of plays a bit of a trick on the eye. But I shouldn't stand around talking too much because you got to keep moving with this stuff. It's alright, we've got a bit of time. Got a little bit of a window. But yeah, basically you really don't want this stuff to dry as you're spraying, so it is actually starting to warm up. I think, well, next Monday, so today's Thursday, next Monday I think is actually the first day of summer for us here in Australia, yeah. So as I'm spraying this, it had been about 30 degrees, so nice and warm, but not too hot. So this is what I do sometimes. Bottom to top, then top to bottom. So I found the top seemed to dry quicker. So that's better. You gotta put it on nice and slow with that drop coat. As you see, I'm holding that gun right back, putting it on, and a really tight overlap. Nice and slow. And that should be us. And we'll wait until that dries down. Sometimes I need to just do a bit more work on the blend, but we'll see how we go this time. I'll tell you what, it's so cool having my own spray guns, man. And literally, it's a dream come true. I never thought that this would happen when I started this channel like 6 or whatever years ago. And yeah, I still pinch myself sometimes, walk into the booth with my own spray gun, and it really is amazing. And I know it sounds a bit cliche, but it's you guys that made it possible. I mean, I know I put a lot of work into the channel, but it's you guys that continually come back and watch my vids that make it possible, you know? So what I did with this job here is I actually put in some half slow and half fast or standard reducer with the base coat. So I actually did slow it down a little bit, but not completely. So yeah, I sort of made my own little concoction. It's not something that, whilst I know you can do it, it's not something that the paint reps even really tell you about. But yeah, I just went like, yeah, half with the reducer. So Nice, strong, even sound on these T110s. Even distribution of the metallics. But yeah, I'm yet to find any gun that can't spray this Sando Blue. It's more about how you spray it than what you're spraying it with, to be honest. It's not, yeah, more about how you apply it than the gun that you're using, you know? So you see I'll break the bumper up into 3 parts, each side and then the middle. That should be about us, eh? Hold on. I know you don't see any of this, but I still like to get a bit of colour over there. Why not? And I've got to do this one too. So what I might do, like, we'll see how that dries down. Hold on, I'll take this respirator off so I don't have to yell. I mixed up pretty much perfect amount of paint too. What did I mix? I think it was like 800 or 850 mils for this job.
Alright, so that's a bit easier on me, not having to yell over the respirator. So I was going to say, yes, so next up I'll grab my airline and do a bit of blow drying on this. But what I'll do is I'll wait and see how that dries down, and if it's not quite right, I'll actually go outside and add a little bit of blender to that color, to that base coat color. I'll go like 1-to-1, so 1-to-1 blender and color, and then you just go over that blend with a bit of low pressure, and usually the blend will sort of, yeah, look a bit better if it doesn't look good the first time. But yeah, I find sometimes the silvers, you just need to go over it that extra time. So as you see, it's taking its time to dry because I did add a little bit of slow reducer to it. So yeah, 30 degrees, I can't remember the conversion. It's probably like 80 degrees, something like that Fahrenheit. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to stand here for a couple of minutes with this this hairdryer, and I'll see us when we're ready to clear, or if we need to put some extra base down over the blend. That blend's actually, it appears to be drying down nice. It looks like we won't have to go over the top of it. I've got a good feeling about this one.
Rightio gunners, let's get back into it. So I'm actually really impressed with how that blend has dried down. I can see it, but I don't think that most people would be able to. I can just see it around here and up here. As I say, I sort of staggered it to throw the eye off. The colour match was really good actually. I sprayed it out. So as it turned out on this car here, there wasn't any, I just double checked that that's, yep, we're recording. So there wasn't any colour chips. There usually is. I've found for most recent cars, we've got a colour chip, but for whatever reason, we didn't have a colour chip for this car. So I had to use the Spectro, and it was awesome. I didn't have to match it. I just used the Spectro, took a few photos, and sprayed it out just to check, and yeah, it was a good colour match. Might have to go just, these are pretty peely, these things. These Hyundais, they've always got a bit of orange peel in them from factory. But you can see that silver just laid down really nice. No mottle in it or anything. Stand up, standard clear as usual. There's the Gunman Edition GTI Pro. PE20 1.3. Full fan, full fluid, and just under 2 bar. Because they're going for a little bit of a peelier finish on this car. But yeah, to be honest, it can be a little bit hard to match the orange peel with this clear. I find this clear to be a touch on the thin side, so it really naturally it wants to go flat. So with these kind of cars and with the Euro cars, really you have to be a bit more conscious of it, put it that way. I'll just put like half a coat over here. Don't want it to be too glossy in there. Mate, I've been smashing the jobs out today. This is my third job for the day, start to finish. So in the morning I did a Tarago. That was a full front end. Well, not full, so I just did the bumper and bonnet and like a top lock panel. And then I did a 3-stage Pearl BMW X5, which I actually did a video on too. So you've probably already seen that one by now. And then I finished the day on this one. Yeah, man, love it. Loves it. Woohoo! So yeah, I'm going to give that a couple of minutes in between coats and I'll see you back here, yeah, within 2 or 3 minutes. Alright, so it was literally like 2 minutes. This is fast hardener, so it flashes off pretty quick. And yeah, so I'll put my second coat on the bumper first, so that gives these parts an extra minute, because yeah, bumpers don't have to be as perfect, if you know what I mean. Looking good, baby! Woohoo! Yeah, so hope you're all been well out there, guys. I know it's been a bit of a shit year for lots of people. We've actually been flat out here in Western Australia. We had this little mini lockdown for like maybe a month or so, and then we actually managed to get rid of that virus somehow, and then it's been life as normal. We've shut the borders and yeah, we managed to keep it out somehow. Nice and clean, as usual with the Sando Blue, mate. Oh, gotta love that. Whoop. that's me, man. I'm gonna go clean that gun out, and then that's it for the day, mate. Gonna go home, maybe watch a movie. I'll probably take this footage home and get this uploaded for you guys in the next couple of days. Have a look at that bad boy. Woo! T20 1.3 Gunman edition, and look at what it can do. So here's the bumper, nice and clean. So I pretty much got my system down pat with my bumpers now. For a while there I was getting a few nips in my bumpers, but yeah, I pretty much got that sorted. That fender is pretty much off the gun. Very nice, actually. That looks quite good, like the factory orange feel, the factory finish. I think I saw one nib up the top here. That's probably about all I would do, eh? That's about it, man. Who else doesn't love that? Why wouldn't you love your job, mate? Why wouldn't you? When you get to come to work and do stuff like this every day, why wouldn't you love your job, man? You can take pride in what you do, and you can achieve nice results. What's not to like about it, man? I love it. Wow. There you go, guys. Hope you've enjoyed watching, and give it a big thumbs up. And catch us in the next one. Get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out. Woo!